Hello, I'm Ted Keene. I'm the pastor of Cleveland United Methodist Church. And one of the things that I do as the pastor of this church is I write a monthly pastor's column to our local newspaper, the White County News. And the one that was published today was about the coronavirus. And I wanted to take an opportunity here to kind of respond to that article and give a little bit more detail on some of my thoughts that are taking place as of Thursday, March the 19th. If you want to read that article and you don't have the newspaper, I've included the text in the description below this video, and so you're welcome to read what I wrote. The genesis of the article, the original starting point of that article was an interview that I heard from political commentator David Brooks. He's a conservative commentator, and he's written the last, I think, 3 books that he's written have been about morality and character. I've read one of those books. A fascinating writer, a great idea to write about character during these times, and it's a great idea to pick up some of those types of ways in which we can continue to be a hero, especially during this time of the coronavirus outbreak. And I know a lot of you are fearful out there and worried about the world around you, and so we ask these questions during these difficult times about what does it mean to be a hero. And David Brooks was responding to that in an interview that he had last week. He wondered aloud about why the Spanish flu epidemic of 1918 was not a time that really marked itself on American history. In other words, it didn't kind of gather the imagination of heroism in America. And he was wondering aloud about that. He wondered if perhaps the reason that was is people were generally ashamed of their behavior. And that's kind of an interesting proposal that he had. He was wondering perhaps that if people treated others as pariah, were not particularly kind to other people during times of difficulty, they gave over to their fear, and that manifested itself in selfishness and so forth, whether that was a big part of the problem. I thought it was an interesting interview that he had. David Brooks, he didn't say this, but one of the things that I was wondering as he was speaking were those times in American history when we do look at ourselves as a great people, as a people that rose to the occasion. And there are plenty of those opportunities. I can think of 2 just right off the bat that I wrote about. One was World War II. And yes, we can call the soldiers that stormed the beaches of Normandy heroes, and they were the soldiers that lifted the flag on Iwo Jima as heroes, and they were the soldiers that liberated the concentration camps. All of them were heroes, but everyday people were heroes too. There were women that went to work building airplanes. There were people that recycled metals and did without meat and luxuries during that time because they knew that the greater goal was other people. I can also think in my own lifetime, after 9/11, after September 11th, thinking about American heroes. In fact, I have a wonderful book, a Time Life book, that talks about the first responders, talks about some of those that gave their lives, individuals that climbed the stairs of the Twin Towers, American heroes. But that same book also reminds people that millions across the country after September 11, 2001 gave blood, and they donated to causes, and they helped to rebuild America, not just literally physically, but to rebuild America spiritually and emotionally, and they reached out to the other person. And it just reminds me of what Jesus is calling us to do and who Jesus is calling us to be. When Jesus would heal a leper, Sometimes the leper, I think we have this vision of lepers that we get from the movies, from Ben-Hur, that their entire bodies are scarred by their skin disease. But you could be a leper with just a portion of your body, what today we might just call just a problem with dermatitis or something like that. And people got scared during that time, but Jesus wasn't scared, and he reached out to these people. Now, I'm not advocating that we reach out to people and touch people the way Jesus did in his time, but I am saying that it's important for us to remember the other person. And so when Jesus healed someone like a leper, or somebody that was lame, or somebody that was blind, and he healed their blindness, or even at an emotional levels, at spiritual levels, such as when he encountered the woman at the well, what he was doing was giving them life. Almost in the same way that he gives Lazarus life after Lazarus has died and laid in the tomb for a few days. To talk to the woman at the well about her life, and to offer her living water, to offer her hope, to offer her love and mercy, was a way of giving life to her. And I think that's what we're called to do. And I think during the times like this, during the coronavirus and other difficult times, we're to remember other people and to give life. Some of you may be younger and healthier, and there may be ways in which you might be able to reach out. Call somebody on a telephone, or find out from your church who might be in need. And some of you have already done that in our congregation here at Cleveland. Find out how you could help. And that may actually be some way to help in the next days and weeks to come. Maybe we could go buy some groceries, or if pharmacies allow, to go pick up prescriptions. There'll be wonderful ways that we can help be in ministry and to give life. But I want to talk about the simplest way, and that's to take this seriously. This is affecting all of us. It's very much changed the way that we live. And there are some people that don't want to change. They don't want to give up their ability to go outside and their ability to gather into groups and do those types of things. And what I want to say is that this is about giving life. We talk about doing no harm. We talk about not injuring another person, not spreading this disease. But I was struck by reading in a newspaper article an Instagram post by an 18-year-old Italian girl. She said that her great uncle had already died. She said that her parents tested positive for the coronavirus. And she said that she's doing everything she can, taking every precaution she can take. Not for her. She knows that if she gets the disease, she's probably going to be okay. She might get sick, but she's probably going to be okay. But in Italy, it's gotten so bad that she knows that if she is given a hospital bed, that may be a hospital bed that could have been given to someone far more vulnerable than her. And so I want to leave you today with that thought. We talk about being safe. We talk about washing our hands. We talk about social distancing. All of those are good. I want to wrap that up with the idea of what Jesus has called us to do, and that is to give life. Give life physically by helping others, by keeping them safe and secure and healthy. Give life emotionally by contacting others on the telephone, letting them know that you're thinking about them, praying for them. And to give life spiritually. May God bless you all, and know that I'm praying for you.